Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with Immigration. We have a lot of people, in fact, yourself, that's really glad today. So hopefully we can continue this. Not, let me know. I'll re-record every recording. But in any event, what I want to talk about today is the EB-2 and EB-3 and the differences, because sometimes people don't understand why, maybe a whole lot better to do the EB-2 and how you might qualify for it. Now, I'm not getting into all of the different categories, the subcategories of the EB-2 and EB-3, but I'd like to at least get into one part of it that is basically the part that will show you why it's better if you're going to get EB-2. The basic procedure, and EB is not for employment, so again, if you're going to be petitioned by an employer at a job that requires a degree, basically just look at it like this. If you have only a bachelor's degree, pretty much you're under the EB-3 category, and if you have higher than that, a master's or higher, you basically go under the EB-2. So lots of variations in that, and I have different videos on those variations, but that's the basic one. Now, with the position, of course, if they're going, they being the employer is going to petition you, if they're going to petition you for an EB-2 level, number one, it needs to have the master's degree, and number two, the position needs to require the use of the master's degree, and number three, the pay which they are required to pay you once they hire you will be considerably higher than the bachelor's. So all three of those need to be kept in mind before you go forward, because obviously if they agree to petition you under EB-2, if the job requires the master's degree, but they're not going to pay you what they need to pay you, well then it's dead in the water before you even get started. Also, if they want to petition you and they're willing to pay you, but the job doesn't really require a master's, it's also dead in the water. So, if you have a master's in engineering and they're petitioning you to be a busboy, well, obviously that won't work. Okay, so just a few tidbits, okay, and also with the perm, when you get an employer that wants to petition you, they have to pay the attorney's fees. That's under the law. Unfortunately, that's the way it is, but you can neither reimburse them nor decrease your salary to pay them back, whatever it is, so that you end up getting the proper amount of wages, and they have to pay not only the attorney's fees but advertising fees. And with the what's called the advanced degree perm, that's where you have a master's or higher, and that goes under the EB-2 category. The advertising is usually more. Okay, instead of being around 500, it's usually around 1,000, give or take. So why do you want to go with EB-2 versus EB-3? Well, the visa bulletin, that is the waiting list that people get on in order to, for a visa number to become current so that they can proceed forward. So let's just pretend that it's third preference right here, so EB-3, only have a bachelor's degree. Let's just look at some countries here. Basically, the visa chart is divided into 5 different columns. It's Philippines, Mexico, India, China, and then all other areas of the world. And the reason we do that is because those 4 specified countries are essentially the most popular countries in this category coming in, and they, of course, in many instances have different priority dates. So a third preference, for example, employment base from the Philippines is currently processing June 15, 2007. So let's just pretend you start the perm today and it's approved tomorrow. Okay, before you can think about consular processing into the U.S. and able to get your residency, it's going to take about 6 years on a employment-based third preference petition. Mexico, not quite backed up as much. It's October 1st, 2012, so that's only a couple years. What does that tell you? Right away, that tells you there's a lot more people with bachelor's degrees coming from the Philippines, and it's been backed up for some time. Then we look at India. India's current EB-3 rate, they're currently processing September 15th, 2003. So that's 11 years. So that means, again, let's do the perm now. We get it approved tomorrow. You're going to be waiting about 11 years in which to be able to consular process. And generally that time goes up. It doesn't go down. So while today it's about 11-year wait, it'll probably be longer by the time you actually do it. In China, not so bad, October 1st, 2012, so that's about a two-year wait, give or take. And the rest of the world also October 1st, 2012. So basically, for the rest of the world, EB-2 is, EB-3, bachelor's degree only, is October 1st, 2012, about 2-year wait. So unfortunately, if you're from the Philippines or from India, those two countries have to wait longer than most other people, and of course India has the longest wait on the planet to come in on an EB-3. So now let's go over this again. This time, let's talk about EB-2. You have a master's degree or higher. Well, when you have a master's degree and fall into EB-2, the priority dates change. So let me go through it. Let's pretend that you did an advanced degree perm tomorrow and it was approved 2 days from now. And obviously it takes longer than that, but just for discussion's sake. And you wanted to go forward. Well, from the Philippines, EB-2 is current. Okay, what that means is the moment it's approved, you can go forward and do what you need to do to consular process. Of course, I'm leaving up the I-140 petition, and that's what happens after the perm. But for all intents and purposes, when it's current, there is no visa waiting list. So, for example, from the Philippines, EB-3, you wait 6 years. EB-2, you wait no time. Okay, it's current. Mexico, same thing. Although you only say 2.5 years. But, from the Philippines, let's say you're only a year away, give or take, from getting your master's. You spend a year getting your master's, or 2 years, whatever it is, and you save 6 years of time waiting. So if you do the math, and it takes 2 years to get your master's, you do the 2 years, get the perm filed right away, so there you'd say 4 years. And I don't know about you, but 4 years is a long time that you don't have to wait if you don't need to, so you save a lot of time. Basically, in China, the EB-3 is backlogged. EB-2. I hope I'm not confusing you. The EB-2 is backlogged to March 8th of 2009. Now, this is a unique situation. There is actually more people applying from China on the EB-2 category than the EB-3 category. It's very strange. But when I represent, my Chinese clients, I actually tell them to do a perm that requires only the bachelor's degree, not the master's degree. Because why would you wait, all those extra years, other than you might get more pay, but, if you do this right, you'll, get the proper amount of pay, and then you can be promoted later. So you will wait an extra 3 years if you come in on an EB-2 from China rather than an EB-3. So that's the only country in the world where it's backwards like that. So where I'm saying from China, get only a bachelor's degree position. The rest of the world is the other way. Now, what about India? Well, India and EB-2, they're waiting from November 15th of 2004. That's basically only a 1 year difference from the EB-3. So from India, even an EB-2 is a very long wait. It's 10 years instead of 11. So if you happen to be from India and you're watching this, I would suggest other avenues other than the EB-2 or the EB-3. There's possible EB-1 categories, which I have videos on that. But unfortunately from India, there's a lot of people coming over with advanced degrees and bachelors, and that's why, unfortunately, in that country, it's taking so long. So you have to look for other avenues, which there's lots of other different avenues other than this. But the rest of the world is current, okay, on an EB-2. So given that, this is the reason that I am stating EB-2 generally is better than an EB-3, depending on where you're from. And hopefully, if you like the video, click like, go ahead and subscribe. I usually do videos once a week, and we'll do more in the coming week. Thank you.